Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about that round? A round of applause. All right, now to our second topic. And just a little note for my candidates up here. Sorry, my competitors. Keep the mic close to your mouth. Don't move it too much. Don't want too much feedback for the crowd. Okay? Next prompt: should Canada be a part of the U.S.? May I please hear the two sides? Just yes or no. And thank you.
Good day, everyone. So I am the Premier of Ontario, Emeka Okafor, with the Prime Minister of Canada.
I'm Sean French. I'm the current Prime Minister of Canada. In case you didn't know, there was an election. I won. Thank you.
And we have decided, for the good of the Canadian nation and the North American Confederation, to join the United States. This agreement was done not for selfish purposes, but to better the lives of citizens in North America.
All right, Mr. Premier. All right.
Thank you.
Now down to the opposition. Go ahead, man.
My name is Kenyan Bahadur. Once again, I'm the Chief of Defense of the Federal Government of Canada. I'm here with my trusted partner. We believe it is absolutely within Canada's best interest to never unite with the United States. They have showed us our tariffs. They have showed us a lack of care for the allyship that we have given. We believe that it is dangerous to trust an ally who has decided to stab us in the back one too many times. We have seen that they have burnt more than one bridge. We do not believe it is in our best interest to join the United States.
Keep that fire for the round. All right. And please have a 2-minute opening statement from Sean and Emeka, please. Thank you.
So we, as a Prime Minister of Canada, as just mentioned, we believe that becoming a part of the United States would be vital for our citizens, as it would provide security both financially and militarily. It'll increase and strengthen our economy. As mentioned, everybody knows right now our current issue with the states is tariffs. So if we became a part of the United States, tariffs would be gone. So it would reduce the price on everything. Everything would be a lot cheaper. And we would have slightly more rights and freedoms if we became a part of the United States.
And I want to just mention it out that we would have a good benefit from aligning with our brother country, the United States, due to the fact that we as Canada have a heavy food reliance due to trade with the United States, especially in states like Minnesota, Nebraska, and the Twins. But I will leave the statement on to you guys.
Because the United States historically, especially now lately with our tariffs being implemented on us, has been aggressive and dangerous, we refuse as members of Canada to bend the knee to the United States. It is true that we have shown reliance to them. However, we have many other bridges, especially in Europe, that we have not burnt bridges with, unlike the United States. We have many friends, and especially with Donald Trump in power, the United States, with a lack of health care and a right, Second Amendment, to bear arms, it looks more like a monarchy than a democracy.
All right, folks, we're going into our 10-minute open discussion. Go ahead, Emeka.
Just to lay it out, we are still under a monarchy. Right now, we are under a Commonwealth monarchy, under the British Kingdom, a collapsing empire, which will have Canada stuck to the tip of it. So, just to build upon that, we aren't bending the knee to Canada. Sorry, we're bending the knee to the United States. We are joining an alliance with it for the betterment of our citizens. Just to open it up, we have a, at this time of war and at this time of national tension, with World War III lying around the side, and Russia developing their greater military power, we as Canada, we are sitting ducks. So if we drop an alliance with the United States now, we would have a greater military difference, a larger geographical mass aiming to defend every one of us. Because we all know that Canada's military defense is nothing but crap right now. We have the lowest, sorry, not the lowest, but the whole Western Scape, we have second to the last military build-up in both our armed forces, trade labor, and our manpower, which is unfortunate.
I hear your statement regarding wartime sentiment. Are you willing to throw away what it means to be a Canadian just for the slightest bit of safety of a war that may not occur?
And so, what does it mean to be a Canadian?
Through our 150 years of being a country, we came together as a nation of divided people in one space to show, you know what, I respect you. You know what, we are different, but we can be kind. Maybe we don't have to rush headfirst into war, because what are Canadians known to be around the world? Not just kind, polite, respectful, diligent. We are a new country and we have a unique position within the world, especially with social media, to show what it means to be a united nation, not in tenure, but in a group of people. Are you willing to throw that away for a war that may never occur, especially when we have allies for trade to keep our GDP, our gross domestic product up?
Just to make that clear, that's not what it means to be a Canadian. That's what it means to be a sorry. That's what it means to be a cultural resident of your province. But as a Canadians are mostly nice, respectful, and apologetic. That does not apply to Quebec. Each Canadian province has their own cultural traits. And Ontarian has never lived the same life as someone from Nova Scotia, native Acadian. Someone who came from the French Isle and was forced by the British to apply to their needs. And keep in mind, each Canadian, sorry, citizen of both southern Canada and upper US share very strong cultural similarities. Being that someone from Minnesota, someone from Manitoba, are the greatest highlight.
I'd just like to add on a little bit. So you're talking about um, willing to lose. Are we willing to lose our Canadian identity if we merge with the U.S.? And I would argue, who's to say we would have to lose our Canadian identity? Why can't we help and share our values with our future fellow citizens of this great nation? We can call it North America. As we see, Canada is a very diverse country as well as the United States. So we have similarities there. You go to places like New York, and you go to Texas, California, or you go to Montana. There's a lot of differences between each of those. There's a lot of differences in between our provinces in Canada. So even though yes, there's a lot of differences, we still have a lot of we still have that one United Canada identity, and we can share that with our future.
I just wanted to touch on your partner's statement. I was rather interested. I was rather surprised about his statement regarding Quebec, because as we have Quebecois people likely in the room, as well as Quebecois Canadians that are a large part of our elected force, as well as our Quebecois people in Canada, has a large tie to our British and our French allies. I would like to say it is incredibly important that their say does matter. I think it's quite a strange thing to write it off immediately as you had.
Whatever US swallows, it chews, or rather, whatever it chews, it swallows. As Donald Trump said in one of his most recent interviews, he said that Canadians are nasty people. That's the exact line he said, and I'm not rephrasing it. So, how can you one expect to retain your Canadian values under a leader who has directly called you that?
I also just quickly wanted to touch on, are you aware that our Constitution of Canada, which is young, 150 years, had we gone under the rule of the United States, we would be adopting their constitution, which does mean the right to bear arms, which does mean our free healthcare, which is a form of insurance, would also be abolished. Are you okay with losing that?
Okay. Let's see if I can try and break this down. So, when regards to the monarchy, yes, we are part of a monarchy. But I would argue right now they're more of a ceremonial slash figurehead part of Canada. They have some say, but a lot of their stuff and a lot of their powers is designated through our bills of rights, our constitution, our parliament. So again, they're more of a ceremonial. So I'd argue in that case that that would be okay, and I'm sure there would be some people here that it would be okay to lose the monarch family because they are um, an old time, and we are moving forward in that way of ruling a country just doesn't work in these days.
I definitely see what you mean, especially regarding um, our how there's certain positions of power in the British Empire in Canada. However, as you had just stated yourself, it is symbolic. As you had just stated, it is a symbolism of our connection and our trust with Britain, as well as the Quebecois are a symbol, a piece that we take care of France, a symbol of our allyship with France. I see absolutely no reason why we should forego the trust, especially when it's deeply rooted in the small history of Canada, to go for a country that is tariffing and taxing us. And I do understand what you mean. I hear you when you say, oh, well, the United States may not have that intention with us. Does it look like after the President of the United States, which seems to move mostly on his own, calling us terrible, nasty people, has the intention of doing a small interjection in our country and making no changes? Are you willing to take that risk and become the 51st state?
I would argue with Donald Trump, as controversial as he is, he's only a temporary person. He's only in there for 4 years because as the United States under their constitution, presidents can only serve a maximum of 8 years. So he's already done 4, so he's got 4 more to go, and then that's it. So when that I think we can all agree we can live with the 4 years as much as we can. It's gonna be tough, but I think everybody here can agree that we as Canadians are a tough breed, and we can push through, the 4 years of the Donald Trump, and then going into becoming a part of America, it'll just solidify us even better and make our lives that much more better.
Are you guys satisfied with that, or would you like a closing statement as well?
Go ahead.
Closing statement.
So by becoming the 51st state of the US, we are basically becoming friends, own enemy. And in all our conversations, let's not forget the indigenous people. The US has a long history of breaking treaties with the indigenous people, whereas the Canada, all of us have a long history of keeping our treaties through reconciliation, land agreements, and everything we do. So if we become a part of the US, there is no guarantee that they will accept us and the indigenous citizens when they haven't even accepted their. Thank you.
Us. We like that round, didn't we?